last chance. No beating around the bush.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Blake Production.
Alright, what's poppin'? I'm starting a new series here. I'm just going to go over some basic chart patterns that I think are really good to identify in the markets. So for the first video, I'm going to basically go over the bull flag. I've went over it before. It's pretty simple to identify, but I'll do it again because, again, it's super helpful to be able to spot this in the market. So if you don't know how to read candlestick charts, I highly recommend you learn that. It's a great skill to have. So the basic bull flag, the psychology behind it is that there is a big momentum push and then there's some time where there's a period of consolidation behind it. Now, you could look at the bull flag from like a bunch of different time frames, right? Right now, I'm just going to show you the daily and maybe a few weekly examples. For the most part, I find them the best to identify on the daily time frame just because it takes a long time for it to develop. Where if you're looking at the 15-minute, the 30-minute, like that's happening in like real time, you'd have to be able to spot that faster, right? So with the daily time frame, it gives you a long period of time to one, spot it out and get like a front run on that move. So basically, to identify a bull flag, always remember there's a one big push, right? So you can mark it from this bottom right here, you can mark it from here, whatever, it doesn't really matter. There's a clear momentum move upward. Now, this one is matched with a big increase in bull volume, which is even easier to identify. So we had this big push, it went up over 100% in just a few days here, right? So that's a big move. Some would say it's too much too soon, so it needs time to consolidate. Now, this is where you want to enter the trade, somewhere in this range, right? Because this is the flag part. Now, the psychology behind the bull flag is that it's a continuation move, right? If all stocks just went up, you would never have the flag part of the bull flag. It would just continuously rise and just instead of pausing here, it would just continue going, which is just not realistic, right? So this move, this period of consolidation which is what we call the flag, is actually like really important for a healthy trending stock. This area is where you want to be able to potentially buy. Now, the risky part about the bull flag is they don't always work 100% of the time, but some things that you could point out to help your hit rate increase is that you want to obviously match it with bull volume, make it a stock that's in a hot sector. Maybe it's a really strong stock like an Apple or an Amazon. Different factors like that, stocks that have people buying them, big momentum, that have good news behind it, or are in a sector, like those are all good catalysts to have behind a technical bull flag. So we have this big push up, consolidation sideways. This is where you want to enter, somewhere in here. You don't have to be super picky, but obviously you want to get it at the lowest point of the pullback, and then we get that big push up. Now, if you look here, right, we have a few different bull flags. So we have big push here, and then we create the consolidation. You could even look at this as one big bull flag from right here, right? You could just look at it like this. And then we had this long period of consolidation, which was some sort of a flag. And then we had a big push up. See, it's super easy to identify, a big push up, and then we have this bull flag pattern happening here. Same thing here. So it's just an easy setup to identify. This is also telling you that there's momentum in the stock, right? So let's look at a different example, Mara, because they're not always going to shape up the same way. So if we look at the 4-hour time frame, we have this nice big push, and then there's some period of consolidation. This one happens to be a triangle or a pennant, whatever you want to call it. Either way, in my opinion, it's still a form of a bull flag. So over here, it's nice and easy to spot on the daily time frame. We get that breakout. You could also play it where you just buy the breakout. You let it develop, and then you wait for it to break out, and then you buy there. Because it is a continuation play, you're expecting it to go higher anyway. So there's another bull flag example, right? Let's look at another one here on MMED. We're looking at the daily time frame. We're going to go all the way back here. So this bull flag was back in November 2020. I remember playing this one because, again, we have the big rush in volume, and then we create this pennant almost flag pattern. Super clutch to identify, right? It's super easy to identify this stuff. basic patterns. It's not a pattern, right? Like obviously people think, oh, you're identifying patterns in the market, it's not real. Like it's very much so real. This is a behavioral pattern from how people react to very fast volatility in stocks, right? When things are very volatile and you see a big increase, people are going to want to take gains. Sometimes when they take gains, it creates some sort of a pattern which forms a bull flag. This is why I'm going over this stuff. Sounds super annoying and silly to go over, but this is example of a bull flag, or you could have marked as some sort of pennant. Really great pattern here. Easy play. You get the breakout and then we get a huge move here. So let's look at another example. Here on MVIS, we have a potential. So there's a form of a bull flag here, but now I'm looking over here and I'm thinking this could potentially be setting up a bull flag where we have this move here to the upside, and now we need some time where in between this range, the high we made, from the high we made to the low, and now we might be creating a flag in that range before we get the breakout higher. So that's what I'm looking for in MVIS. And then if we look here on Amazon, like we're going to zoom out to the weekly time frame, right? This is just one massive flag pattern almost. We have the bottom here, March 2020. We make a big move up and now we're consolidating sideways. It might be a little bit drawn out here, but you get the point that it's creating some sort of big flag pattern. You could even draw this pull back from down here or down there. This is a huge over 1 year, right? July 2020 to November 2021. Huge consolidation period. Eventually we're thinking, are we going to get that break upward? Is Amazon going to go to 5K, right? That's what people are waiting for. That's what I'm expecting next. So that's the ideology behind the bull flag. You could use it on any time frame, but the daily time frame, in my opinion, is solid. You get it on the daily time frame, it's easier to it's less hard for you to miss it. Like it's easy to identify. You can get in for a nice swing trade. And yeah, so that's the first of this little series here, the bull flag. Easy.